Now at 10 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, Bay City police are asking for information on a runaway teenager. State Bill 4 remains in legal limbo after a federal appeals court blocked the law from taking effect. And Governor Greg Abbott orders Texas colleges and universities to ban anti-Semitism on their campuses.
Well, good evening, everyone. We have a few little sprinkles just to the north of our area. There's a city you see what's happening, but that will be gone by morning, and then sunshine and warming temperatures. I'll have more coming up in a moment.
And one local gym home to some of the best gymnasts around. I'll have that in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker. Karina Garcia will be with us shortly. New at 10, a syndicated political cartoon has sparked controversy. 25 News Now anchor Karina Garcia has the details. Karina?
Yeah, Don, the latest editorial cartoon by Adam Ziegels titled Gaza Famine, making headlines for its portrayal of Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, commonly referred to as Bibi, tightening his grip on humanitarian aid to Gaza. This cartoon, published in numerous newspapers nationwide, including right here in Victoria, has stirred debate over its political message and implications. We spoke with Jewish community leader Dr. Gary Brefman, who says he was shocked at the local paper's decision to display what he calls anti-Semitic rhetoric.
We deserve an apology, number one, for two reasons. Number one, it's blatantly anti-Semitic. Number two is it's false information. They're helping circulate false information. No matter how critical they want to be of Israel, that's fine. But to spread lies and deception through their newspaper is inexcusable. There is insinuating that Israel is preventing, or Jews specifically, are preventing access to aid to the Gazans, and that's blatantly a lie.
We reached out to the paper for comment, and they responded. The paper states, for each edition of the Victoria Advocate, our newsroom picks cartoons, columns, and editorials to publish in an opinions page. On that page, we try to offer a variety of different opinions and perspectives for readers to consider. We don't always agree with each of those perspectives and believe that it's important to maintain a well-rounded, unbiased page. At the end of the day, we hope our content is thought-provoking and inspires productive conversation. As for the cartoonist, this isn't the first time the Pulitzer Prize-winning artist has faced accusations of anti-Semitism. In Buffalo, New York, his previous piece titled Leaky Faucet had the Jewish community in an uproar for its use of the Star of David. And back in Victoria, Dr. Brefman continues to demand accountability, saying he does not accept the paper's explanation. He rather demands an apology, saying the paper should be ashamed of themselves for running this editorial, calling it malicious intent. Don, back to you.
Karina, thank you. And your viewer poll tonight is about that cartoon. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. Here's the question. Do you find the editorial cartoon offensive? Yes or no? 19% of our voters say yes, 81% say no. And we thank you for voting. Governor Greg Abbott today issued an executive order to fight the increase in acts of anti-Semitism at colleges and universities in Texas. The order will also ensure a safe living environment for Jewish students and all Texans. The governor's executive order requires all higher education institutions in Texas to review their free speech policies, establish appropriate punishments for anti-Semitic speech on campuses, and include the definition of anti-Semitism in free speech policies.
Bay City Police. Your help in finding a teenage runaway. 15-year-old Thomas Eaton was last seen last Sunday. Bay City Police say if you see him, please use caution. Contact the Bay City Police Department at 979-245-8500 if you have any information about Thomas. Now, the University of Houston Victoria faces challenges with its budget as enrollment declines at the school. The university plans to reduce operating costs by almost $4 million before August and up to $7 million by the next 2024-2025 school year. The reduction includes staff layoffs and temporary pay cuts for UHV's president and vice president, job offer freezes, and more. President Bob Glenn says the goal is to increase student enrollment and retention in the future.
The Lavaca County Sheriff's race is headed to a runoff.
That is right. And 25 News Now Weekend anchor Adam Seibel spoke with incumbent and current Lavaca County Sheriff Micah Harmon and joins us with more.
Sheriff Micah Harmon tells me that he's spent his life in public service over 44 years, serving as Justice of the Peace, and then in 2004 was elected to the Lavaca County Sheriff. He says his top priorities that he's running on addressing in Lavaca County are fighting against cartel operations that include car thefts and human and drug smuggling, and addressing and increasing school safety for Lavaca County schools.
We have 3 rural schools in Lavaca County, and so we work with them doing safety and security plans for them. Currently my deputies stop in when they're on patrol. They'll stop in and check with the different schools and make sure things are okay. We're again going to work with our Commissioners Court to try to get some more funding to maybe, if not our full-time deputies, maybe some part-time deputies, or even we're going to try to ramp up our reserve deputy program.
Sheriff Harmon says they're also a part of the High-Intensity Drug Trafficking Areas Task Force, also known as HIDTA, to combat cartel activities. Sheriff Harmon faces off against Steve Greenwell, and that runoff election is scheduled for May 28th. Don, Karina, back to you.
Adam, thank you. A federal appeals court ruled a controversial Texas immigration law will remain blocked. The court is considering whether the law violates the U.S. Constitution. Senate Bill 4 lets state officials arrest, detain, and deport people they believe entered the U.S. illegally. Governor Greg Abbott signed the bill into law in December. The appeals court will hear arguments on April 3rd as it considers whether the injunction will be upheld.
And let's take a first look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis. Okay, we had clouds. It was chilly in the morning, had a little rain. Then the clouds go, and it was hot again.
What is going on?
It was like a buffet.
You roll the dice.
It was
whatever
a weather,
lands on.
It was a weather buffet. Are we having another buffet tomorrow, Mac?
You're going to miss this buffet that we had today very soon because it was also cool. We only got up to about 72. It was that north wind that made a big difference tonight. We had a little bit of sprinkle activity north of the city, as you see right about there, not amounting to much. However, by tomorrow, it's wall-to-wall sunshine and warming temperatures all the way into Easter Sunday. We'll have more on that coming up in just a moment.
Mac, thank you. April Butler is running for Victoria City Council District 3. She says her experience as a local business owner gives her a set of skills and perspective to solve challenges and find solutions. Butler owns the Woodhouse Day Spas and the iFix Computers business in Victoria. One of the issues she wants to address is retaining first responders. She says she has a plan to increase pay for first responders without raising taxes. She also wants to make Victoria's economy stronger.
I believe that working with them and bringing in businesses, commercial businesses that are going to offer jobs to the community, the more jobs that we have in the community, the greater the skill set and need. And then the schools fall in line with that as well. If we have a large, robust commercial community, we're going to have programs for the students that are going to support those.
She faces off against Woodrow Wilson Wagner II in this election on May 4th.
There's more details on the missing victims from Tuesday's bridge collapse in Baltimore. A 38-year-old father of 2 is one of the 6 people who was on that bridge doing maintenance work on the Francis Scott Key Bridge when a cargo ship collided into it. His family says he's from Honduras but has lived in the U.S. for the last 18 years. Rescue crews suspended the search for the victims Tuesday night because of difficult weather conditions. The other victims include 2 Guatemalan nationals, an immigrant from El Salvador, and Mexican nationals.
Tonight, the U.S. Coast Guard says the cargo ship that lost power and crashed into a bridge in Baltimore underwent, quote, routine engine maintenance, unquote, in port beforehand. The investigation into this tragedy continues.
Search and rescue crews worked for 18 hours yesterday, in the end saying they do not believe the 6 construction workers who presumably fell into the water during the collapse are alive, citing hazardous conditions, unpredictable currents, and frigid temperatures. Crews picked back up again today in the rain with the recovery mission.
And here are some of the top headlines you can read in the Port Lavaca Wave, Kareem.
Memorial
Well,
Medical
there is,
Center is
because,
advising the public to get early screenings to avoid colon cancer. Plus, Iguana
2 or 3
Fest will
days
begin
ago.
downtown Port Lavaca on Saturday, April 6th, and is expected to bring in a funky kind of fun. What kind of fun is that?
It's a funky guy.
It's a funky guy. You can read these stories and more at theportlavacawave.com.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell so you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. More fallout surrounding Diddy and the high-profile raids in his Los Angeles and Miami homes. That's coming up on 25 News now at 10.
Also ahead, police have released new details into the death of a university student who disappeared in Nashville last week.
Update tonight about the death of University of Missouri student Riley Strain. The 911 call by a Tennessee barge worker who found his body went public. A preliminary autopsy report showed no evidence of foul play. It's unclear if Strain drowned or had died before he went into the river. Nashville police have viewed multiple videos from the bars he visited and says there's no evidence to show he was drugged. Police are currently not conducting a criminal investigation into Strain's death. Also tonight, new fallout on the investigation of Sean Diddy Combs on claims of sexual assault and human trafficking.
Yeah, federal agents seizing electronics from his 2 homes, and now separately one of his employees has been arrested.
More trouble for rapper Sean Diddy Combs after those high-profile raids. Federal agents from New York seizing electronics from his homes in Los Angeles and Miami, which sources say are tied to a criminal investigation into sex trafficking allegations against Combs. The 54-year-old entertainment and business mogul, establishing Bad Boy Records in the early 90s, is named in several civil lawsuits.
They're looking for information about trafficking, the women that are involved in these lawsuits. They're looking for any information, conversations, pictures, anything that supports and corroborates these allegations that have been levied against him for human trafficking.
including a civil suit from music producer Rodney Jones, who collaborated with Combs on the Love album, accusing the rapper of sexual assault and engaging in a, quote, widespread and dangerous criminal sex trafficking organization.
Act bad, act bad, act bad, act bad.
Combs, through his attorney, calling the probes a witch hunt.
I think normally when you have someone that's this high profile of a figure, you have a lot of people coming very quickly to their defense, and we haven't really seen that. So I think people are waiting to see what the federal agents are discovering.
Meantime, one of Combs' employees arrested on drug charges, according to a recently filed lawsuit against Combs. Brendan Paul is accused of carrying drugs and guns for Diddy.
And if they get information that connects him and his drug usage with Diddy, that's going to help them further their case with this information that they have about him.
Combs has denied all allegations against him. Diddy's employee posted bail and so far has not entered a plea. Combs has not been charged with any crime. Tim Pulliam, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Here's a look at some of the top headlines in the Quail Record. The Nordheim Volunteer Fire Department receives a grant of $7,000. And the Easter dance at Yorktown Community Hall will be held Saturday, March 30th. Read these stories and more at DeWittCountyToday.com.
We are looking at a current temperature of 60 degrees right about now. It's going to get a little cool tonight, down to about 50. Today's high, because of that north wind, only got up to 73. A little bit below average for this time of year, but after tomorrow we start lots of sunshine and warming temperatures. We'll have all that coming up in a moment. Well, good evening, everyone. We were talking about the eclipse earlier today, and I just wanted you to see the map as to where the areas of Texas are going to be in totality. In other words, where it's really going to be dark. It goes basically from Del Rio to Kerrville, up to about Killeen, and then on up to Dallas, or just east of Dallas, over there toward up here. Anyway, the thing is, most people are going to be in the hill country right about here. So I'm just suggesting if you go south of San Antonio toward Del Rio, you might have a better viewing spot because there's going to be a lot of people out there. Well, tonight we have sort of the last hurrah of this little system that came through and produced a little rain activity. We had a few sprinkles earlier this morning. Late this afternoon, the heaviest activity was up in Austin, as you see right about there. But tonight, it's pretty much falling apart and moving out. Here's a little bit closer look at the radar, and you can see how most of it missed the city this evening, and it's all sort of moving in toward Houston, and by tomorrow it'll be long gone. We start the warming trend. Yes, sir. We're getting up to 78 tomorrow, and then 81 in San Antonio, 75 or 6 in the Houston area. Now, temperatures will start warming up all the way into the Easter weekend. In fact, you're probably going to enjoy this stuff because we start off with 78 and then get up to about 84 on Easter Sunday, right about there. So we're going to go from, wearing windbreakers to wearing flip-flops and shorts. And here's the rain over the last 24 hours, and you can see it was mostly over northern areas out west of us, but not so much in the county. And of course, up in Austin, they did get a little bit more significant rainfall with that system that came through. So as we look at the big map, the storms have gone. Now we have high pressure building in over the region. That's going to mean we're going to have a more stable atmosphere, no real rain chance. We're going to pick up the Gulf air, and so we'll have morning low clouds, but in the afternoon we'll have plenty of sunshine. And as this ridge builds over us, that's when we're going to start seeing the temperatures getting up into the 80s all the way into Easter Sunday, right about there. Then about Wednesday of next week, this storm system out on the west coast, which is really a big one for this late in the season, for the Rockies all the way down to Southern California. That one will cross back into our area, and that will put us back into, say, temperatures a little bit more like what they're supposed to be this time of year. So tomorrow in Port Lavaca, sunny skies all day long, getting up to about a 76. And then in Cuero, you've got sunny skies all day long, getting up to about a 77 there. We are going to see temperatures really start ramping up. As you can see, for Good Friday, we'll be at 80 degrees. For Easter Sunday, we're looking at 84. A couple of hot days, Monday and Tuesday here, but then Wednesday is when that next frontal system rolls in and gets us back to more seasonal kind of temperature. That is your 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody we do have a QR code. We want you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. I'm going to toss it back to Don over there.
Mac, thank you. And we are getting some late word just coming in from the Associated Press. The U.S. Coast Guard says the cargo ship that lost power and crashed into a bridge in Baltimore underwent, quote, routine engine maintenance, unquote, in port before the tragedy. The investigation continues.
Search and rescue crews worked for 18 hours yesterday, in the end saying they do not believe the 6 construction workers who presumably fell into the water during the collapse are alive, citing hazardous conditions, unpredictable currents, and frigid temperatures. Crews picked back up again today in the rain with the recovery mission.
All right, well, St. Joseph was in action and Victoria East looking for a big zone crossover win. I'll have all that coming up in sports. Some local gymnasts went to Oklahoma City and returned with a lot of hardware they are proud to show off. These kids are young and very impressive. Full Force Gym is home to a lot of talented young gymnasts who thrive on the mats and just shine at the Winter Classic in Oklahoma City. They just took 6 athletes that competed against some of the best competition in the sport. Jaden McCarter just finished in first place in mini trampoline and just happy to see everyone do well.
Feels really good knowing the whole team was successful 3 years in a row and going and doing good every time.
We also had River Taylor flip his way into first place on power tumbling, as well as Lorelei Garza, who was first in trampoline, and Allie Bowman, who was first on trampoline, tumbling, and double mini. These guys come in and spend hours to perfect their craft, and Coach Chad Ganaway says it's just as impressive as their performances.
What they do is impressive. What I think is more impressive is the fact that most of them don't live in Victoria. They drive here from either Cuero or Inez or, out, and they come straight from school here. They're here 3 hours a night or 2 or 3 hours every night. So just that kind of dedication, not only on their behalf, but also their parents' behalf, is probably the most impressive thing.
Although they were all very successful, like Ganaway says, they're committed to their craft and continuously look for ways to get even better. They are preparing for the South Texas Region 3 Championships and Nationals, and that is right around the corner, and the kids not short on confidence in the slightest.
I'm him, technically the GOAT.
Congrats to all 6 of those athletes. We will look forward to hearing from them very soon as they hope to bring back more gold to Victoria and the Full Force Gym. All right, over at the St. Joseph Field of Dreams complex, the Lady Flyers taking it to St. Mary's Hall in the 3rd inning. Avery Grimsinger, just a slow roll of the 3rd, and she's going to beat the throw to first. Then it's misplayed, so she's going to get herself into scoring position, and that's going to set the table for Elena St. Jean, who smokes it into left field. Grimsinger can basically walk home on the stand-up double from Elena. A few batters later, Shane Meismer at the plate gets a hold of one, and it just is short of the wall, but Sophia Rodriguez scores. Elena St. Jean comes in to score. The Lady Flyers easy 13-0 victory. Big zone crossover game for East against Veterans Memorial. Gage Goldman walking off the mound with a 3-0 lead in the 4th, and his offense gets right back to work. Joey Lee into the gap, and great hustle is going to get him to second base with a lead-off double after a great bunt from Grayson Youngblood. Lucas Rodriguez is going to smoke one into center field. Joey Lee scores. It is now 4-0 Victoria East. Now in the 7th, they put Joey Lee on the mound to shut the door. Gets the first 2 via the strikeout. Next batter, he's got 2 strikes and a swing and a miss. The Titans blank Veterans Memorial 4-0. What a huge statement win. Also, it is a national holiday tomorrow. It is opening day for baseball. That's it for your sports. Donna Karina, back to you.
All right, Zach, thank you. And turning to the latest from the Baltimore Bridge disaster, ABC News is just reporting that a hazmat investigator has found that 56 containers with 764 tons of hazardous materials were on that barge that hit that bridge in Baltimore, some of that including lithium-ion batteries you find in EVs. And they now say that some of that material, hazardous material, is in the water after this incident.
That's right. Now, divers did recover the bodies of 2 missing workers on Wednesday. The 2 are part of the crew filling in potholes on Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge.
Video from a traffic camera looking over the Francis Scott Key Bridge early Tuesday shows its last moments before collapsing. Flashing lights on the far right lanes appear to be from the construction crew working to fix potholes. The 95,000-ton cargo ship enters the shot just before 1:30 a.m., inching towards the bridge before slamming into it. 6 of the 8 construction workers who fell from the bridge during the collapse are presumed dead. Search crews today say they recovered 2 bodies who were trapped in a red pickup truck.
The victims were identified as Alejandro Hernandez Fuentes, 35 years old, of Baltimore, and Dorlian Ranial Castillo Cabrera, 26 years old, of Dundalk.
Both men are originally from Central America, as are the 4 other victims presumed dead. The FBI is now working with their families abroad. In Baltimore, the NTSB boarded cargo ship Dolly for the first time today.
Information from the Dolly's voyage data recorder, or what we call a VDR, was successfully recovered on the morning of the accident by the U.S. Coast Guard.
Investigators interviewed crew members still on that ship and say they are cooperating. The main focus, why did that ship suddenly lose power and control? Investigators are looking at several possibilities, including whether contaminated fuel played a role.
There's a question on the concerns about power, or reports of concerns of power outages. That's all part of our investigation that we'll have to look into and verify.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg today said a bipartisan emergency relief fund will help Baltimore's short-term needs. The administration may be turning to Congress for the long term.
Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, we'll take a last look at your weather. Plus, tomorrow is the 88th day of the year, marking an important day for musicians. So C sharp or you'll be flat. Beloved sausage dog, the dachshund, could soon be banned in that country. The country's National Kennel Club proposed a new draft law banning breeds with skeletal anomaly, as part of the Animal Protection Act. It also aims to strengthen existing laws on torture breeding, but German officials say the dachshund is safe. Lego wants a city in California to stop using its product in the police department's creative approach to community engagement. The Murrieta Police Department posted pictures on social media showing suspects' faces covered up with Lego heads. There's a new law to prevent police from sharing mugshots of those accused of nonviolent crimes. The department said it will comply with the company's request. Don't get Lego involved. Come on, man. Oh my goodness.
So the criminal was Lego head?
The blockhead.
I don't know.
That's what he was.
But I know you don't toy around with the weather.
No. I don't mess with it at all. We'll put it together here. We've got the warming trend beginning tomorrow as we get up to 78. Should be wall-to-wall sunshine. Then we start seeing a strong Gulf breeze bring back the low clouds in the morning, but that'll help get us up to 84 on Easter Sunday. That's your forecast.
Alrighty, thank you, Mac. We are 88 days into 2024, which means it's World Piano Day. That's because pianos have 88 keys. The most expensive piano is the Galaxy piano. Its body is made from 24-karat gold, and it is valued at more than $1.3 million.
It's almost too expensive to actually play it.
Yeah, I would be afraid to touch it, actually.
You don't want to hit it too hard, you know?
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Ding, ding, ding.
Excuse me,
Can
insurance.
you imagine the insurance on that?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's going to be tough. Alrighty, well, thank you for joining us for 25 News Now at 10.
Join Carolina Astroin, meteorologist Parker Cox. 25 News Now Sunrise starting at 5 a.m. Good night, everybody.